The fact remains that the majority don't. I think you got something on your nose, bud. Yeah, it's just there. Just, yeah, like right there. You need me to get it for you? Alright. Hey guys, my name's Amelia, but you can call me Milo, and today I would like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel where we have another AUSBIO episode. In case you're new here, AUSBIO is a series where I bring in a special furry, feathered or scaly friend and tell you a little bit about who they are. So without further ado, let's get on to the video. So today's guest is of the furry variety. He's a little bit cuter than anything we've covered in the past. This is Phoenix. There is also two other guys here, George and Julia, and they are swamp wallabies. I am going to be going into a little bit more in depth about these guys in particular later on in the video, but for now we're just going to talk about their basic biology as a whole. So I think a really good place for me to start would be with what a swamp wallaby actually is. What on earth is a swamp wallaby? Scientifically known as Wallabia bicolor, swamp wallabies are also known as black-tailed wallabies or just black wallabies. Here in my region of Australia, we know them as swamp wallabies, so for the purposes of today's video, that's what I'm going to be calling them, but just know that they do go by a few other names. Now, swamp wallabies are found throughout eastern Australia from Cape York all the way down to Victoria, where they live in coastal heath and scrubland. Basically, they'll live anywhere where there's lots of low-lying bush where they can hide. They're fairly elusive, and it is very lucky to be able to see one in the wild. I'm very lucky to be able to get this close to a swamp wallaby, as they are, as I said, very elusive. So swamp wallabies are herbivorous. They will eat almost anything, including some plants that are actually poisonous to other mammals, including hemlock and bracken. Unlike other macropods, meaning other kangaroos and wallabies, they don't graze on grass as much as you would think. Instead, they browse on low-lying bushes and trees, eating sticks and leaves and flowers and fruits, basically anything they can find. Growing up with these guys, I have seen them down just straight up sticks with nothing on them, just sticks. So, yeah, they'll eat anything. At the moment, these three have a fresh bowl of fruits and veggies delivered to them every day, as well as 24/7 access to a commercially available kangaroo and wallaby diet. However, while they do love their made-to-order carrots, there is unfortunately no room service in the bush, so they're slowly being weaned off this food so that they'll be ready to survive on their own in years to come. Now, sexual maturity in swamp wallabies is reached at about 17 months of age. George and Julia are only 12 months old, Phoenix is even younger, so they're not quite there yet. But yeah, on that note, we're going to move on to reproduction, which is everyone's favourite part about macropods. We're going to talk about pouches. So it all starts out pretty much the exact same as humans. There's a boy wallaby or girl wallaby. They go off and have some special alone time, and then they come back and voila, she's pregnant. So this is where it gets interesting. Female swamp wallabies have a gestation period of only 30 days. So in only 30 days, she gives birth to what is best described as an alien. Because her gestation period is so short, the baby has almost no time to develop inside her womb. So when it's born, it is essentially a fetus about the size of your thumbnail. At which point this tiny pink freak of nature will climb up her fur and into her pouch, where it will find a teat and stay there for the next 8 to 9 months of its life. After this period, it will start to climb out of the pouch, it will grow fur and look a little bit more like this, but quite a bit smaller, and it will start to explore the world and wean off milk a little bit more. They do stay with their mother, drinking her milk for another 6 months, and after that 6 months, that's when they will start to go out into the wild. Swamp wallabies have 4 toes on each foot, the first for balance and the second for traction. The third and fourth toes are fused together. However, this fused toe still has 2 nails which they use for grooming. This part of the foot is aptly known as the grooming toe. So now that we've covered swamp wallabies as a whole, as a species, I'm going to zoom back in on these guys in particular. Specifically George and Julia, because I raised them myself. Well, my dad raised them and I was there for part of it. I didn't have much to do with Phoenix's raising. He was raised by somebody else and now he just lives in this pen with them. But you're going to get tangled in my microphone. Okay, he's just going to sit there for now. But yeah, so this is their story. Here in Australia, we don't have to worry so much about running into animals like deer on our roads. Instead, we have to look out for native wildlife such as kangaroos, wallabies, and wombats. When we build our roads through what was once their natural habitat, animals don't understand that they should look both ways before crossing, and, as such, are often killed as they try to move from one place to another. George and Julia are two such cases. They were found in their dead mother's pouches on the side of the road in two separate instances, meaning that they are not brother and sister. They have two different mothers, both of whom were killed in the same area in the space of 2 days. The cars that hit them didn't bother to stop and just kept driving without taking the time to check for any signs of life, and so, just like that, they were orphaned and left for dead. Luckily, there are people who do stop, and so they were found and brought to a licensed wildlife carer who just so happened to be my dad. At this time they had no fur and were only 6 months old. They were extremely weak and fragile, and honestly, for a little while there it was kind of touch and go. But slowly, over the course of a few months, filled with 4-hourly bottle feeds, regular pouch changes, anxiously monitored hot water bottles, and of course lots of love, they got bigger and stronger until 6 months later we got where we are now. Safe to say, raising orphaned wildlife is far from easy, and it takes a special person to be able to function through the blood, sweat, tears, and various other unidentified fluids in order to bring up a healthy animal. Today, George and Julia have officially moved out of the house and into a large outdoor enclosure where they are prepping for what is called a soft release, meaning that they now get a chance to gain the skills and confidence they need to be released into the wild in a safe and controlled environment. In a few months, the gates to this enclosure will be opened, releasing them into a 50-acre predator-proof reserve where they'll be free to leave us annoying humans behind forever. So yeah, that's their story, and while this one has a happy ending, the fact remains that the majority don't. 4 million Australian mammals are hit and killed by cars every single year. Had one more night pass without someone taking the time to pull over and check the pouches of these guys' mothers, they would be dead. They wouldn't be here with me today. The moral of the story is that if you are driving at dawn or dusk, please be extra careful, and if you do see or hit a wallaby or a kangaroo or any animal for that matter on the road, pull over, please check that it's okay, especially if it is a marsupial such as kangaroos, wallabies and wombats, because there is a very likely chance that there is a baby in that pouch. If you, like me, do frequent rural roads, it is a very good idea to carry a bottle of spray paint with you at all times, essentially so that while you are out on the road and if you do see a kangaroo or wallaby or a wombat, and you check its pouch, you can spray paint an X on its body so that other cars passing know that that animal has been checked and that there is nothing of note in its pouch. Here in Eastern Australia, we are so lucky to be able to live with such amazing animals, and it is our job to be able to learn how to peacefully live alongside them and how to help them when they're in need. Luckily, there are hundreds of people here who dedicate their lives to raising orphaned wildlife, and it is because of those people that I can sit here with them today. So that is all I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. It really helps to know that people are enjoying these videos. If you want to see some more cool animal content in the future, feel free to subscribe. I have so many ideas and so many things in the making that I would really love for you to be here for. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.